Are you ready?
Good evening, happy Wednesday, and thanks for joining us. My name's Tony Fornina with 956sports.com, and welcome to our preseason football show served up by Fox 2 and McDonald's. As always, we are going to take a look as to what has happened within the last 8 months in the Rio Grande Valley, with district realignment, new coaches and new places, and of course, how has your team stayed the same? But first, let's talk about 956sports.com. It's another media, it's another venture. Of course, with the World Wide Web and the limitless capabilities that it has, we've managed to put together another venue for kids to expose themselves to maybe those D3s or D1 programs that have heard of the Valley Kids but not seen them. Of course, this is not a one-man's task. We've got a great team joining us, and our first team member has got over 30 years experience covering Valley High School football. He's a professor at the University of Texas Pan American, a noted author of Bronc Ball, a book that he's working on right now that encompasses all about UTPA basketball from 1927 to his current time, and of course, his book that's already out called Border Ball. Dr. Greg Selber is a part of it. Thanks, Doc, for being here.
Well, I appreciate the intro, my friend, and I'm glad to be here. You know, I've been waiting for football season for months, as I know a lot of people out there, and myself included, probably never thought that it really was over, and so we're going to wait and see when the season comes. It's here. We're here, too, and I appreciate the info you've given the people on 956 Sports. What started several years ago as just a maybe is now a real reality. I feel like you said, we are giving kids a chance to get some publicity, maybe use that as a recruiting tool. We're helping communities get more involved in their teams. I feel like, boy, compared to the way it used to be when it was just a newspaper, there's a lot of ways that you can become involved in sports now. You know, there's a lot of things you can learn about your teams and about your players and your coaches that these things weren't available to us in the old days. So, as a reporter, boy, it gives you a lot more work to do, I'll tell you that, but I think that it's worth it. So I feel like, the number of people that we now have working at 956, the special features that we're starting to develop, this is going to be our best year ever. I really feel like we, are about to explode upon the scene, and I think we're going to be unstoppable. So I'm glad to be here. I look forward to having a great season, and let's see what happens.
Interesting Dr. Greg Selber fact that some of you may not realize, he's the reigning Texas Sports Writer of the Year. Just giving us a little bit more credibility. And thanks again, Doc.
Appreciate that.
And of course, you've heard many times the story of the coach that had great success, walked away from a program, stepped into the TV analyst role, got paid a few bucks, but eventually went back to a bigger, better team, offering a bigger, better paycheck. We've got that man ourselves. Eugenio Gene Garza, former coach of the La Villa Cardinals, had great nationwide success with his 7-on-7 teams, had great statewide success with his La Villa Cardinals. He's taken 2 years off so that he can watch his son play at Ed Cal Chelsea, part of La Máquina, and he's graciously joining us as well. Thanks, Gene.
Well, thanks. I appreciate being here.
What have you been up to the last 8 months, Coach?
Well, the last 8 months I've been kind of busy, being at the house, working in our business. I've been spending a lot of time with the family, and that's important. For the next 2 years, I'll be there.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to your in-depth coverage of the teams that we'll be showcasing here on our show every Sunday morning, 9:30 on Fox 2. That's right. It's Wednesday night now, and this is the first of our three-pronged preseason shows. Of course, you got to have a good offense, you got to have a great defense, and you got to have a great special teams. This is our special teams show. We're going to recap the last 8 months, what has happened in Valley High School football, whether it be through realignment, whether it be through a coach leaving or a coach coming back. Next Sunday, this coming Sunday, we'll have the first of our offensive attack. It's our All-Valley preseason team, and Dr. Selber's been working hard on that.
Well, it's something unique that I haven't seen down here. I don't think we've done it yet. So we're proud to be bringing you not just a preseason All-Valley team on paper, a one-dimensional team, but actually getting to hear some of the kids talk, interviewing them, showing some video clips and some highlights of their performances and exploits. So we invited all the people on the team, offense and defense, over to Edinburgh. We sat down with them. We did kind of a filming, a taping of interviews. All that stuff will be shown on the web. What we've done is we've taken the best of the interview responses, package them with video, and so we're going to look at the 11 best offensive players in our judgment. And again, that's a guesstimation. We're not, saying that these are only the 11 best, but I mean these are the guys that we figured, through guesswork were on the team. The best part about it, I think, besides the unique presentation that we have, is the chance for these kids to get to be part of something a little bit special. They're sitting down and getting to articulate and practice being on camera and get to shake hands and then represent their schools. And I feel like that, as far as student athletes go, that's kind of an important thing for them. So we're going to run our offensive team on Sunday, a 30-minute show. Then we're going to come back the next Sunday in the morning and run our defensive team. And as I said, believe me, it's not going to be just talking heads like me, for 30 minutes.
Right.
We're going to have a lot of action. I think it's going to be really enjoyable. It's going to be unique, and I hope everybody gets to tune in and see who's on the team.
And most importantly, we need to remember that this is our view. We have some kids that we may not have heard of because their coaches aren't following the due diligence of reporting stats, of reporting the successes that their teams are having. And we hope that the coaches will each step up and help us help them, shall we say.
And Gene, you know as well as I do that Max Preps and other things like the Huddle, that's a good lick, isn't it?
That's very important, especially to get exposure for our kids. You got to use Max Preps. You got to use Huddle. And if you don't, you leave your kids behind. And that's not fair for them.
And these are the services that provide statistics, that give you highlights, so that someone's up in Wisconsin can look at our Valley kids and say, wow, 1,300 yards, let's see what he looks like. And there he goes.
Right.
So I really feel like the combination of us and them, Max Preps, Huddle, all these things, we're going to have more kids go to college than ever before, and I think hopefully we'll be a small part of it.
And of course, that's the bottom line, getting our players to the next level. All right, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll talk new faces in new places. Not just coaches that have come and gone, but where has your team ended up after the 2-year realignment? That happened earlier this year, and we'll break it down for you next, right here on the Huddle preseason show, brought to you by McDonald's, 956sports.com, and served by Fox 2.
A lot of people don't know who we are, what we do. These girls showed up one day all dressed up, and they thought it was a dance hall. We wanted people to know that we're building materials. Mott's cash and carry building materials. People come in and they're surprised. Man, you guys have got great deals. I didn't know you was here. We've been here for over 40 years. And you thought the good old days were gone forever? We're still here. Mott's cash and carry building materials. It's just not a dance hall,
It's time to rethink everything you know about dieting. It no longer takes months to lose weight. The HCG weight loss plan that everyone's talking about is now less expensive and easier than ever to get with the help of the weight loss clinic of Dr. Jose Rodriguez. Magazine write-ups, TV interviews, no weight loss plan has ever received this much positive press. Lose 26 pounds in 26 days. Call 627-4056 for the weight loss clinic of Dr. Jose Rodriguez.
Let your imagining soar with me to a magnanimously magnificent mashup deeply ingrained in our brain's pleasure center. The simple joy of sublimity, where a decidedly delicious any-size icy cold Coca-Cola soft drink or sweet tea is just $1.
The sun shines bright as it moves across my face. I feel the light and everything is in its place. Oh, I woke up feeling great. Today was made for me. And life is good the way it should, the way it was meant to be. And it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day.
Fox Rio 2 and 956sports.com serve up the Huddle every Sunday morning at 9:30, brought to you by McDonald's. Get your 30-minute recap of everything in the Valley High School football world Sunday mornings at 9:30 on Fox Rio 2. Join the coach, Gene Garza, our sports writer of the year, Greg Selber, and myself, Tony Forina, for the 30-minute trip around the Rio Grande Valley High School football world Sunday mornings at 9:30, brought to you by McDonald's, 956sports.com, and Fox Rio 2. Welcome back to the Huddle right here on Fox 2, and thanks for joining us. Again, 956sports.com and McDonald's will serve you up a weekly show Sunday morning starting this coming Sunday at 9:30, encompassing everything that is happening in the Valley High School football world. Now, one of the changes that we've gone through this season is realignment. It happens every 2 years. Big school, little school, San Antonio, Austin, El Paso, Houston, and the Rio Grande Valley. The entire state goes through realignment. Now, this was one of the years. And my question, I'll go to Gene Garza first. Coach, as a coach that's been through realignment with big schools and with little schools, how do you prepare for this as a head coach?
Realignment is always crazy. You never know what's going to happen. You know, you're not sure if you're going to have to travel 4 hours to play a district game or travel an hour to play a district game. And, you know, every year when this happens, every 2 years when this happens, you're anticipating the worst, and you usually get it.
It normally doesn't give you a chance to schedule many games in advance, shall we say, because of the fact that you never know if you'll be a district opponent of the team or they're going to be, you know, going on to a bigger district themselves.
Yeah, well, when it's time for that, you set up a schedule where you have plenty of games. But what happens when realignment comes out, some of those teams can't play because they're in district play already. Mm-hmm. So now you're scrambling to find games. Mm-hmm.
And Coach, realignment is all based on attendance at the schools, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Doc, you've been through many realignments in your 30 years of covering Valley High School football. A smaller school like La Villa, for instance, where you've got 10 weeks to fill, but you may only have 4 district opponents, being a 5-team district.
Yeah, the 5As don't have a problem. They have the opposite problem.
Exactly.
They got 9 games and they got 8 games, only 2 non-districts. For the smaller schools, what that means is you run through half the season and you haven't even played a district game. So it can work one of 2 ways. One, you have lots of preparation time. You can spend weeks getting ready, making mistakes, putting new things, and you can even change the entire system, although I wouldn't definitely suggest that, but you could. The problem is that if you play 6 ball games and got 4 district games, you may get a lot of kids hurt. You may lose a lot of kids to grades. So all the preparation you made goes out the window, and then you have 4 games in district, and every one of them is hugely important.
Well, it's a good thing that we've got a coach that has been in that predicament. Coach, with your La Villa Cardinals, was there ever a point that you said, I've got so much prep time, but I don't want to lose my starters?
No, well, in a small school, you're going to play bigger opponents, right? We had 160 students last year, right? And we're playing La Feda, 900-something students. La Grulla, close to 900 students. We played MMA, which is at 500, St. Joseph at 600. We're playing bigger schools. And it's always tough for small schools to find games. Always tough. And you're scrambling to find 7 non-district games, 6 non-district games. And down here, we have Santa Maria, we have Monte Alto, we have La Sara. All of those teams will not play successful football teams. So you got to go further up north to play teams. We traveled to Round Rock to play a JV team.
Right, I remember that, yeah.
But that's the only team that we could play.
And as good as your La Villa Cardinals were, I'm sure there were some of the bigger schools that shied away from playing you because they didn't want to be that 1 3A, 4A school
they have to gain?
that lost to La Villa.
In my arrogance, I called out PI and I called out Lyford. And they had nothing to gain from playing us. That's what they told me. Like, why are we going to play you guys? You know, if we lose, you know, we're in trouble. If we win, we should have won.
Right.
The other thing about realignment that always drives me crazy is that, you know, once you get used to certain teams playing each other, rivalries, they tend to go out the window. Now, this year I happen to believe that having Weslaco and Weslaco East in the same district is going to be tremendous. It's about time that those guys got together, and it's going to be on this very field, and that's going to be a crazy night. So, I mean, there are positives to be had, you know, definitely. I guess I'm an old stick in the mud traditionalist, man. I like to have things the way they are for the last 20-some years, and it's just hard for me to get used to.
You know, the positive of the Weslaco East rivalry, but look at the Battle of the Arroyo, the Harlingen-San Benito matchup that has been on for so long. It was so easy while they were in district. Now they're in separate districts.
And that, to me, I don't care what they say about having the commensurate number of teams in each 5A district. To not have Harlingen and San Benito in the same district is silly. I don't care what the numbers are. I'm just being obstinate, I know. But how can they not be in the same district? Yeah, you can sit there and straddle the line between the towns.
Right.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, that's just one of the few things. And of course, with all the district realignment, we also get new coaches in new places. 14 new coaches in the Rio Grande Valley. Some have coached here before, others some brand new faces. Let's run through the list. PSJ High School welcomes Rich Lucero out of the Houston